All right. Gonna go ahead and get started very shortly. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. And I hope everybody had a good, restful weekend. Good weekend of back testing or doing whatever you gotta do. I hope everybody. Ooh, there we go. That was my my check for me to make sure that I am on and my mic is not muted. So let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy ABK, and thank you for checking out another one of my weekly analysis. I do appreciate it. And before I go ahead and get started, please, if you haven't already, if you are not subscribed, subscribe, like. Well, we appreciate when you guys are watching our videos. We really do appreciate it because it does help us grow, helps us get placed on the algorithm so that those who are interested in trading, they also get a chance to see our content. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this. So first things first, how I usually do it, of course, for those who have watched my previous analysis, you guys know that I look out for the fundamentals, like the news events that goes on before I check out the markets themselves. Although I I only look at when they're happening, and I only look at the high impact news and what type of news it is, right? I don't necessarily care about what's going on with the news economically speaking. I don't really care too much about that. What I really usually care more about is just to see when the high impact news is going on, so that if I'm not already trading, I stay, or if I'm not already in a trade, I tend to try to stay away from that market until I get like, okay, now that the high impact news is gone, now the markets are more steady, now I could be able to try to trade on it. That's basically how I look at the news, right? So that being said, Monday, so tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Oops, I did not mean to do that. We're gonna have Australian dollar news, which is the cash rate and rate statement. Tuesday, no news, high impact news. 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesday, there's going to be Canadian dollar rate statements and overnight rates. And then we're also going to be having the USD JOLTS job openings. This, I think, happens every, I'm not sure if it happens every 4 months. I know that it's not a monthly. I know that this is not a monthly news event though, but I'm not sure if it's every quarter or if it's every 4 months that this pops up. But anyways. And then we're also going to have Canadian dollar tentative news with the BOC press conference. So that is going to be, they say that it's tentative, but usually it just falls like an hour behind the rate statement. But so that's still something that you want to watch for, the Canadian dollar. Thursday, we're going to have 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, Australian dollar news, which is Governor Lowe is going to be speaking. I'm sorry guys, I actually forgot that I need to turn this down a little bit. And then, so Thursday, RBA Governor Lowe will be speaking. And then 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, there's going to be CPI news for the US dollar. So a good amount of news, but not a lot of US dollar news. So that's one thing that I'm going to be watching for. So let's go on over to the charts. All right, so let's take a look at the DXY. Last week I was saying that I wanted to see price drop down and retrace back up to the sell box before falling down. It kind of did the first time, did it the second, off of from right here. It didn't necessarily come up before dropping down, but then it came up again to where I wanted it to be at and then fell again. But that's besides the point. I'm not really, honestly speaking, I'm not really crazy over the DXY and how it's looking as of right now. Daily time frame, it has just been consolidating a little bit, but overall this thing is still pretty it's pretty bullish, right? I still do want to see price come up to the supply zone overall at this point, rather than just like, I would rather see it, I'd rather want to see it retrace naturally for sure, but I'd also want to see it at this point like kind of come up to the supply zone overall. Like, I'm not really feeling like, I see this doji candle right here, and then the previous weekly candle, it was showing a potential shooting star. There's a huge wick to the upside, and then the body candle closed like very low, but still, I'm really more feeling that price, it's still not that about that time for me to start looking for sells that much on the DXY. I would love to see it correct, but it hasn't done anything worthy for me to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to try to get into a sell trade or anything like that, Same thing with the daily time frame. Price is just consolidating, and it's going a little bit higher each candle close, but nothing too crazy for me to try to get into. One may argue that, hey, from this bullish move that price made, where it came down to this high that price had made, this higher high, one may argue that, hey, price just came over here to get off of that 71% fib at 95.525 before trying to make another higher high, which this lines up with price coming up to 98.195, which is at that supply zone that I'm watching for, right? But still, it's like, again, I'm not really, the way how the price is moving is just not, for me personally, a good place to be like, hey, let's go ahead and try to sell DXY, right? It's still pretty bullish. The 4 hour with these two candles back to back, this is a bullish engulfing candle, and this candle did not engulf the other candle. So hey, for all that I'm seeing at this point, I feel like price is going to end up closing, like coming back up to these highs and possibly even going higher. So as of right now, I'm still not convinced with the US dollar. I'm not really that crazy over how it's currently looking. At this point, what I would really want to see is it price to like just leave this range right here. Like, I'm just gonna draw a box over it, but I want to see price leave this area, like break out either to the upside or to the downside before I start to really look at it, because it's choppy to me. It's not showing like it's not showing me any type of valuable information with the candlesticks or anything like that, you know, because hey, for all I know, what price could easily just do from right here is just from this high to this low, come up to 96.327 and then go bearish. But again, it's just really choppy right now. I'm feeling like this is a really choppy market. I do want to use this trend line at this point. And let me change this color. I want to even change the thickness a little bit. All right, so this is what I'm saying. Like, you know, I'm seeing that this is a little bit more, this looks a little better. No, that's not what I wanted to do. It's over here. Right, so I'm seeing that price, hey, it's been rejecting off of this downtrend line for a little bit, and then also you get from this price down here to these highs, you can see that price is like kind of wedging out. So right now I'm just waiting for a breakout to happen between these two trend lines right here, right? From between this pendant, I want to see price. I mean, at this point, because it's not necessarily a rising wedge or a falling wedge either, it's just like a regular triangle. I would rather just see at this point what price is going to do. Is it going to necessarily break out to the upside, where if it breaks out to the upside, potential bullish move right there, or is it gonna break out to the downside and then continue falling or something like that, you know? But at this point, I'm not trying to trade or look at the DXY necessarily, right? I'm gonna be patient and see what my other options will be, or just to be like, you know, wait it out and see where price is really gonna go to. But I mean, at this point in time, hey, I'm okay with not trading it, because it's still very much just rejecting off of a, I mean, it's slowing down after such a big bullish move, you know. For a retracement to happen, that's what I would want to see, but again, not really having a lot of confluences for that to happen as of yet. So looking at the DXY, I'm gonna turn this down on my computer, on my earphones. All right, so looking at the DXY, on the weekly arbitrage, it's still above the second deviation. The wick where price came up to these highs, it rejected off of the third deviation. So still very, very early to even consider DXY any kind of bearish. Same thing on the daily time frame. It's still bearish. It's just consolidating. It's ever since it came under the second deviation, it stayed under. So it's a pretty good sign. 4 hour time frame, price had called for a sell right here. It almost came up to the RSI line and then ended up falling. Right now the DXY is calling for buys on the 4 hour time frame. So hey, like I said, I'm not necessarily quite interested in trying to sell the market, but I don't want to buy it at these highs either as well. That's just me personally, right? That's just how I trade. And the 1 hour time frame, the price is still above the 1 hour RSI line, and even past price, maybe even past right here, price wasn't really sure where it was going. It was pretty choppy, right? So again, DXY, not gonna necessarily touch it or like have any type of interest in it until I see like a good bullish, like any type of like breakout on those lower time frames, like I was showing on using my technical analysis, right? So going on over to Euro USD, last week I had said, hey, what I wanted to see after this falling wedge was price to broke out. I wanted to see the retracement. Let me put this back over here. I wanted to see the retracement, price coming down and then continuing up. It didn't do that. It retraced a little bit, rejected off of this previous structure that went bullish, and then came back with some heat. Came back down with some heat after it climbed up a little higher, then dropped. So then that's when that played out, and then prices rejected off of this 71% fib, then went bullish, right? So that's what I was looking at for Euro USD last week. I wasn't able to play that because it was just too wishy-washy for me personally, and it never even hit my alert. So that's even the worst part of it all. Alright, I'm gonna leave this here. I'm gonna show an example of that. I'm gonna use an example of that later. So weekly time frame, still seeing that overall there is this huge zone that price could be going bullish off of, right? And for those who recall the fib that I used here, it is from the low of 1.06500 to the high of 1.23500. Price is retraced back down, and right now is currently rejecting off of the 61.8 Fibonacci level for this extremely large swing, right? If someone were to try to play this, it'd probably be a position trade. I still have my alert set for 1.11444 because it still is a possibility, right? I'm not gonna just say, oh, because price is in the weekly time frame, that down here is not a possibility. Price could still like just do a small retracement before coming back down here as well, right? So I'm just gonna have that alert there set for quite some time, like quite honestly. With these weekly candlesticks, on the other hand, I'm seeing a doji candle on price right now. The volume is a little bit higher than the previous candle's volume, but that's not really. I mean, even last week's volume was higher than when these bearish candles were in play. So, hey, we might be seeing a potential reversal. We're seeing these candlesticks on the weekly time frame volume is increasing a tad bit. So that's one thing that I'm going to be definitely paying attention to on the weekly. Euro USD on a daily point of view, it's just been consolidating, but then has been closing bearish every week ever since it made this hook to the upside going bearish. So that's one thing that I'm also watching for on Euro USD. It's just not like I see this doji right here. If it goes bullish from here, I mean, I would rather see price go bullish, no lie. But at this point in time, I'm not gonna really try to trade it because nothing is too clear as of yet. I mean, one thing that a lot of people might say that like, oh, why not just take from this wick to this low and put it up back to that high? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what price did first. Oh, never mind. I would say from this low right here of the wick to the high of this price action, and you know, hey, if you want to trade that, go ahead. I mean, if it's probably price has already made that move, hit that 71%, I still want to see this go bullish, but I'm not gonna play that, right? I'm not gonna play that at this point in time. At this point, I'm just gonna have to wait to see what price does, because ultimately, I mean, from this low to this high, price did retrace and come back to the 71%. So it's either A, I take the risk of if price comes back down to 1.2422, I could take the risk of potentially going bullish on Euro USD once again, or I just wait for price to come down here and then even potentially go a little bit lower. And right now, at this point in time, I'm kind of like, hey, why not just wait for it to come a little bit lower, because you're already looking for 1.1144 to get hit, right? So as of right now, I'm not really gonna. I'm gonna see what price. What I would rather do, I want to see if price does come back down here, and if it does, what the price actually would look like for me to say, hey, if it shows me some signs that it might be turning around, then why not? But I'm pretty sure, or I have a good feeling that, hey, what could really go down again is from this low right here to these little highs. Although I don't like this move, I'm not gonna play it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that someone's gonna probably play this, or someone has played this, but I would say, hey, at this point, just let the market play out and see what it's gonna do. Again, price could definitely still potentially come down to 1.12421 and then go bullish or something like that. Give us an opportunity to get into this trade, or again, just wait for price to come down to those lows, and then you can see what the price action looks like. But for now, not touching Euro USD like that. So 4-hour time frame, I mean, it was basically the same thing that I was looking at, and I'm like, dang, it really did come down here, like right after all that. But still, weekly time frame. Actually, let me look at the monthly candle, because I was not able to get it on the monthly last week. So monthly time frame, price is currently under the RSI line. So on the monthly time frame, it's possibly going to be showing, hey, you might want to be looking for sells on Euro USD on the monthly. However, just the way how the bands are, I'm not necessarily I'm bearish on Euro USD, that's for sure, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of seeing this monthly like this. Weekly time frame, it had called the sell weeks ago. This was back in June, and this is when I was saying, hey, I'm pretty bearish on EU, yada yada. Prices pushed down, came, and I was currently at the third deviation. I want to see on the weekly for Euro USD to start turning around, you know, at least to make a retracement after this push. But I mean, from this point of view, it could just, if it goes bullish, then that might just be, hey, it's retraced back down to this zone where it was, I mean, this demand zone, and it could just potentially go bullish. Hey, on a higher time frame, that could be definitely what this play is, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. So daily time frame is not necessarily setting up for a buy, but it's kind of almost there. I would want this RSI line to come inside of this lower danger zone, and then I might be like, hey, now this is starting to set up for a buy, but until then, not quite yet. 4-hour time frame, it is calling for a sell. Price is under the RSI line, and all the signs are pointing for a sell opportunity. So I mean, hey, selling Euro USD to the downside doesn't look that terrible to me, right? Again, I feel like if anything, it's gonna come lower, back down to these lows, or it's gonna just continue making lower lows onto 1.11444, right? So the 1-hour time frame, I'm pretty sure is still bearish. Oh, okay, the 1-hour time frame, it called for a buy, but price is currently under the RSI line. So again, I'm not that much of a fan of trying to get into your USD buys quite yet. Gonna have to just wait and see what price is gonna come and do down here at 1.12421, and then whatever the price action looks like from there, I would make my decision on, hey, if I'm gonna look for a buy opportunity or not. So also want to look at the DXY monthly candle, because I didn't take a look at it real quick. So let's take a look at the monthly. Yeah, last month was pretty bullish on the DXY, pretty bullish candlestick on the monthly. So yeah, I want to be careful with that. Okay, it's going over to AUD USD. Been extremely bearish. Took a buy opportunity and that did not play out at all, man. So let me see if I still have that. I doubt I do. No, I don't. So yeah, man, this buy play that I was talking about with AU, where price that came back down to the 78.6, it went slightly bullish. Hey, didn't come up to the 23.6 like I wanted it to, and that's totally fine. The sell opportunity that I had talked about over here, from this high to this low, price that came back up to it, like price first came to the 71%, dropped, came back up a little slightly higher, didn't necessarily go any higher than this 100% over here, but then ended up pushing to the downside. So this was still the play overall for the swing, right? So at this point, hey, AUD USD, I just want to see at this point keep falling to the downside. I was mentioning last week that we could potentially see it continue making lower lows, but I wanted to see some type of retracement first. That never happened. So okay, monthly time frame, looking at AUD USD, last month was extremely bearish engulfing candle at that. So that is this one interesting thing to point out on AUD USD. Very, very bearish. Don't necessarily want to try to go up against this weekly time frame. Man, this weekly has been just destructive overall. You do not want to get into that. That weekly is pretty deadly. Right now, where we can see price holding at is this zone where it's rejected here, multiple areas, right, where it's rejected off of. So we could possibly see some type of rejection where price is currently at, but hey, you don't necessarily want to bet on that. You want to wait for price to actually give you some insight and to tell you that yes, it actually is going to go bearish. So that is what I would recommend for AUD USD. Dang, this daily is extremely bearish. So, I don't know. I'm just saying, hey, at this point, you might want to be patient with this. Not even at this point. You just definitely want to be patient with AUD USD because it's showing that it is making lower lows and it is not looking to hold back or anything like that. This 4-hour time frame this 4-hour candle is bullish. That's cool and everything, but again, you just might want to be patient. I like the bullish engulfing candle that we have on AUD USD off of this 1-hour candle. So that could be a potential. Hey, this can be a potential sign of price turning around, but I would implore you not to act on trying to catch a bottom right now. Everything is just too bearish on AUD USD to even try that at this moment, personally speaking. That, hey, if you want to take a crack at it, just use risk management. That's what I would say. If you're looking for sells, then most likely the sells will play out much better for you. Monthly time frame, on the other hand, price is called to buy way up here. I would not have gone into this, by the way, but it has retraced back down. It's currently under the RSI line, but it's currently holding at this lower danger zone. So that lower danger zone is a place where I'm looking at to use for some type of support on the monthly time frame from AU. So I want to see this reject off of here, then go bullish. Kind of, not even kind of. I do want to see it go bullish right there. Weekly time frame, I remember I was talking about this sell weeks ago, like back in June, July. I've been talking about this potential drop, and price did end up falling. And then So now price is currently at the second deviation on the weekly time frame. So again, this is going to be a place where I'm going to be looking to see if price is going to start making some potential moves to turn around, but I wouldn't try to play off of them right now. It's way too early. Daily time frame has been bearish since I had mentioned it over here, but I would not have gone into this as well at this point right here. Like, it's just depending on how the bands look, if I'll take it or not, and this is just not one of those plays. I mean, everything right here was showing that, oh yes, price can go bearish, so this was a good sell nonetheless. But just for me personally and how I like to get into these, nah. 4 hour time frame, I mean, 4 hours been so bearish since up here. It has just been very much bearish. So again, I would implore you to not try to get into any buys as of yet. Even the 1 hour time frame, this is very bearish. So with AU, just be patient. I think AU is one of those pairs this week I'm not gonna be interested in like talking to. You feel me? So that is for AUD USD. Let's take a look at UCHF. All right, so UCHF. At this point, I'm not seeing any difference than what I have up here on the chart. I mean, last week I had, from the analysis, if I'm not mistaken, from this high to this low, the retracement, I wanted to see price come up to 0.93265. It never did that. It ended up making a lower low after retracing quite just a little bit. And then so I was like, okay, well now I gotta extend this fib down here, and I still want to see price come up to, I mean, I would actually be mad trying to take this trade off of the 78.6, quite honestly. So I still want to see some type of retracement on UCHF. As of right now, I just kind of want to, like, again, it's like these USD pairs, I just want to leave them alone right now because they don't necessarily, they're not necessarily looking like anything that I want to trade. But looking at it from an opposite point of view, this makes me just want to get into a UCHF buy rather than a UCHF sell, quite honestly. I mean, I can't argue with this right here. You know, like, price has just been consolidating. It came and made a lower low, back down over here to this fib zone. And ultimately speaking, hold on, let me just come back over here. And ultimately speaking, with the DXY, like, the DXY is very bullish, and if I'm looking at UCHF, it's not that it's not bullish. Like, I mean, after these couple of days, like, he's just been pretty bearish, if you ask me. But it's just been sideways for the most part. I mean, it's been also respecting this trend line right here. Not really, actually. I take that back. Hardcore, I take that back. That is not respecting any type of trend line, if you ask me. But it is also, this is also in play as well on the weekly time frame, where it's just rejecting off of this trend line. So if we're going to the daily, yeah, if I go into the daily and I just make this move, although yes, this is a huge bearish engulfing candle, you want to be extremely careful with that. Like, it's just, I wouldn't be against price coming back up to these highs and then falling. I would feel a little bit better about that play than trying to buy UCHF overall. The daily has just been consolidating, going left to right, and price is currently under the 50 EMA. So, I mean, but again, when price is just consolidating, the 50 EMA isn't going to be really that much helpful. So, want to see what price will do once it gets over here, quite honestly. I want to see what price is going to do once it gets to this 0.9300 area, and then possibly see it fall to the downside. You know, like, that's probably something that may happen. Might see it come down to this divergence right there. Who knows? Like, but at this point, I'm not. I mean, well, that is what divergence will be at. But I'm not really too interested in trying to like get into sales on UCHF. Not quite yet. Not until I see price come up here and see what it would do from that level, right? But overall, price could just, like I said, it could just really just go bullish from where it's at and then continue making higher highs. Like, that actually might be what the play really will be, but it's just, again, that's mostly based off of what the DXY is looking like. So, yeah, let's see what the DXY is gonna do. I mean, let's see what UCHF is gonna do. This buy doesn't look too terrible. It's just, it's kind of hard to buy this when price is just, you know, it went a little bit bullish and then fell right back down. Like, it's not necessarily in the best look to try to get into a buy at this point. You know, I would just I don't know. It's kind of tough because the way how price is just consolidating in here, and me knowing the way how UCHF is, this play looks good, and the way how these candlesticks are moving as well. Yes, I know that this is probably the opening candle and it was a gap, and then price is now like showing these are the actual candles and this is probably what the market's really gonna do. But I don't know, man. I'm not gonna lie, the buys don't look that bad. If I were to buy it, then yeah, I would want to see what price is going to do up here, and I would hold it. Yeah, I actually think this might be an opportunity to try to get into a trade. Let's see what happens. Let me see what I'll look for here. 30-minute time frame. Yeah, bro. I'll give this out for the free. This would be probably the only pair that I'm holding today on here. All right. What do you mean when you say price is consolidating? Going up and down without making, when I mean by price is consolidating, I mean that it's going up and down and it's not making higher lows or higher highs. That's what I mean by price is consolidating. It's just going in place, not really giving you a direction. Okay, so, I mean, for a swing play, this is probably what I would look for on UCHF. And again, it's just like based off of like, number one, the consolidation that I'm seeing here. And number two, I'm like really going based off of how the USD, I feel like, although yes, it is looking like it's very much overbought, it can still go bullish. And if I were to take this trade, I would see what price is going to be doing once it gets up over here at 0.93100. Like, that's what I would ultimately. That's, I mean, I'm still looking for price to come up here and then potentially sell if it's really going to sell off. That's what I would want. I'd want to see ultimately. So this is a trade that I'm probably going to take. Not even probably. I am going to take it. And then we'll see what happens from there. Right? Okay. So. Tacos. I remember last week I was saying, hey, I would only trade this next week. Oh, my dog is going crazy over there. Oh wait, before I continue, let me actually go on over to UCHF and look at arbitrage. I am sorry. My apologies. Alright. So UCHF weekly time frame or monthly time frame, very much bearish. Had a very interesting month last month. Went bullish and then fell down. Weekly time frame, what we have here is price. I mean, again, this kind of looks like a pretty good trend to the upside on UCHF weekly from these lows to these highs. But yeah, I'm not really to say that I would want to get into a sell long term on UCHF is not necessarily what my eyes are keen on, right? Weekly time frame still pretty bullish. It's still above RSI line. That's another thing that I should have mentioned. So, ooh, what did I just do? Give me my regular candles. Daily time frame. Although there was a gap to the downside, price has been rejecting off of this lower danger zone. So that's another good sign for me personally. Price is under the RSI line, so gotta watch out for that. Level Pro, Arbitrage Z are right at the middle, so that's kind of promising. 4 hour time frame looks like it is setting up for a potential buy. So what I would want to see on UCHF is for a breakout to the upside and a retracement before I try to look to buy it on the 4 hour arbitrage. I'm gonna go ahead and set that alert because I actually like this play a lot. Long once per bar close, create. Okay, going over to the 1 hour time frame. And the 1 hour time frame is just like, again, price was consolidating, just going up and down sideways on the 1 hour time frame. And so I'm just like, hey, 1 hour, I'm not really feeling it, but I do see that it's gonna potentially start calling for a buy shortly. So yeah, I'm gonna get into this buy. I'm gonna go ahead and try it out, and hey, if it ends up not looking great on arbitrage on the 1 hour time frame, whereas like, hey, I'm not looking to buy, then I'll probably get out a little early and wait for another entry. So that's for UCHF. Now I can talk about USD Mexican. So tacos, I was saying last week, hey, what I would ultimately want to see is for price to just come back down to like 20.81 before going bullish again, if that's what it's going to do. I'm still sticking to that analysis, not going to talk really much about it. Really talk much about USD Mexican. The daily time frame as of right now, I mean, it showed a hammer right here, gave a bearish candle, and then it's showing like not a shooting star necessarily, but it's not a bullish candle either. So again, I'm just not necessarily, I'm not that interested in USD Mexican. I don't even know what this is here for, so I'm gonna hide it because it might have a purpose that I might have just forgotten. I have to look back at my notes. And yeah, weekly time frame, bullish engulfing candle, bearish is not engulfing, and the monthly candle, I mean, it's way bullish. So again, I'm just looking for a retracement on USD Mexican before I look to actually try to play it. So I would still be patient in holding my analysis at that 20.800 area. All right, going on to arbitrage, monthly time frame. Oh wow, I mean, this has basically been bullish all its life on arbitrage, basically. That's funny. Weekly time frame, it was bullish once upon a time. I mean, it not even once upon a time. It had called for a buy on the weekly, and I remember I was waiting for this to happen for so long. And so the buy ended up playing out pretty nicely. Rejected at that second deviation, they came back down to reject off of the upper danger zone. So still a little too early to see if USDMXN is going to go bearish longer term. Don't want to see that necessarily. It looks more bullish to me than bearish. 4 hour, daily time frame over here. Yeah, still, like I said, still looks way too bullish to try to get into any sells. 4 hour time frame, price almost came up to the RSI line, but it didn't quite do that. It still can. At this point, the arbitrage Z and the low pro are still above ground zero, so I still think that this is going to probably end up going bullish soon. Like, it might go a little bit more bullish before falling. 1 hour time frame, it is currently printing out a candle that could say, hey, this is potentially going to sell, but I'm not really looking for sells. I'm looking more for just the sell play. Just for price to come down to 20.8100 and then go bullish. That's what I'm really looking for. So let me delete that, and I'm not looking for this. Going over to gold. All right, Mr. Goldilocks, my guy Zay, he killed this play. So what I was saying on gold was, hey, at this point I wanted to really see price. I wanted to see if price was gonna come down over to 1753 before breaking out to the upside and going bearish. It hasn't though. Hasn't done that quite yet. Let me delete all this over here. Gold is still kind of a little unclear to me. Well, not unclear necessarily, but let me go ahead and go over to this monthly time frame real quick before. Let me delete all this stuff. Oops. So, overall, I still feel the same way. Monthly time for last month. Oh my goodness, this is what the candlestick looked like last month. High drawings. With the candlestick looking like this for the monthly, and then a couple months ago it looked like this. It's kind of interesting to see, but again, I'm still pretty bearish on gold. Like, we're just off of this candlestick. This looks more like a shooting star to me than any of those other candlesticks I was saying, hey, they kind of look like shooting stars, right? Weekly candlestick, I had said this looked like a potential evening star was going to play out right here. We had a bearish engulfing candle. Price right now is currently under the 50 EMA and left not a doji candle necessarily, right? The 50 EMA, but it's showing wicks to both sides, right? It's showing wicks to both sides on the weekly, daily time frame. Friday candle was a bullish engulfing compared to the previous day, and price was making lower lows. That's one thing that I have to show, right? Like, price was making lower lows. Oops. Let's just do this right here, right? Price was making lower lows. What we could potentially see is if price breaks out. I do kind of already want to see that happen, because on the 1 hour time frame we've seen, I'll go on to the 1 hour time frame, but on the 1 hour we can see that there are previous lower highs that were getting broken. So at this point, let's go on over to see those on the 1 hour time frame. We had seen that this was the previous lower high right here. So let's just say high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. That wick would have broken that, but I don't consider that. But price had broken through this previous lower high, made a bullish move, and what play that I usually like to see. I'm pretty sure there was some bullish divergence that was starting to set up, so I like seeing that price where a price fakes out to the downside, then breaks out to the upside. A retracement, then a continuation wouldn't be a terrible play on gold right now, right? That's something that I'm really watching out for, and I'm gonna more than likely play if it gives me that opportunity. So from this low to these highs, hide that real quick. I want to see price come back down to 1769 before I look for any type of buy opportunities on gold again. I know my boy Zay, he had called a killer buy, and I got into that, so that was pretty solid. So I want to see this play out, because ultimately what I'm really looking for on gold is for it to come up to 1845 before I look to short it for the long term, right? So that's what I'm looking at for ultimately for gold. I mean, hey, that can take up to before Christmas or whenever, but that's what I'm looking at for gold. So boom, boom, boom. I mean, I know for sure that it could also ultimately just come up to like 1772 and go bullish. Hey, that's cool, but I'm gonna be looking for 1769 overall. So that's the play for me on gold. Let's go on over to arbitrage, monthly time frame. Very much bullish. Last time I called a buy was back in 2019. That's intense. Weekly time frame, this has just been consolidating, and I do not like when the market is showing consolidating like this on arbitrage, but I do see that on the weekly price has been rejecting off of this lower danger zone. So hey, if there was a time that I would want to see gold go bullish, it would be now. Daily time frame had called for a buy, but I would not have played this out. I would want to wait to see what price is going to do back up at this RSI line at 1806. And then next up, 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame gold we have here, it currently is holding right below the RSI line. On the 4-hour, it called for a sell previously. I would not have gone into that. And this still applies. If at this point, this still definitely applies. I want to see the breakout, retest of that RSI line, and then a continuation on gold. So same thing still applies as what I was seeing last week. And yeah, 1 hour is already called for the buy, but that was from last week, and it's just consolidating. But nonetheless, again, 1769, if price can get down there, that's where I'll be looking at for my buy opportunities. So I'm going to be watching for gold. All right, US indices. Before I continue, let me take a drink. Drink water, y'all. Okay, so with the S&P, man, this was tough for me to see. Last week I was saying, hey, what I want to see at this point is for price to just climb up a little higher, come up to 3678 or 3695 before dropping. It never hit either of those, and it ended up pushing like as low as I really wanted them to go. And the reason why I had that is because, hey, from these high of the fib to those lows, the 71% fib would have been right where this first line is at, and then from even, hey, let's do the exact opposite, or not the exact opposite, but the opposite of from that low to that high, right? I wanted to see it from this high to this low. The retracement would have been at 71%, and then price falling. Never went to either of those, so it is what it is. It is what it is, right? So weekly time frame. Let's go on to the monthly actually. Monthly time frame. Well, last month, holy moly, left a big wick to the upside. So That's one thing to watch out for, though, right? Because hey, just let's just look at the previous candlestick that left something like that right here. It showed, oh, potential bearish month, but then it went right back up, and then almost did the same thing. They continue going bullish. Same right here. It showed that hey, this could potentially fall. Month right after, bounce right back up. You know, this was during COVID. This is during COVID times where you had 2 months bearish, bounce right back up. So these things, they're built to buy nonetheless, right? So, I mean, hey, we had one bearish month. What do you think is going to happen the next month? The chances of this being a bullish month is a pretty good chance. So that's one thing you want to watch out for. Weekly time frame, bearish engulfing candle previous week, and then this last week had a big wick to the upside for the wick, but then the candle closed over here at 4529. Daily time frame, I'm not really that crazy over price being bullish like that. So man, right now at this point, S&P, it can still very much come down to 4457.3, but that is just, you know, that's just a possibility that I'm going to be watching out for nonetheless. Let me actually put that down. Not necessarily crazy over the S&P, and that's because I'm looking at the US indices, and I'll explain to you why. I'm looking at the US indices, at US 30 for the potential bullish move. I do know that 4447 is a possibility as well, but again, I'm not necessarily playing on the S&Ps right now, so it can still potentially make this push to the downside. That's what I would want to see for me to get into a buy. Create that. Daily time frame, just been consolidating a little bit over here. I can see I like this 4 hour where it went lower than this previous low right here. So, I mean, that could be a potential wick hunt or a stop hunt to the downside. And again, I mean, hey, who am I to say that this isn't what possibly is going to happen from this low of the 4 hour? I mean, I hate when I do the play like this, but I mean, I see the retracement and then price pushed up. It could just be bouncing off of this fib zone right here for it to continue going bullish, right? I mean, I don't really necessarily care for the placement of the fib, but I know that that's a possibility, right? So we'll see what goes down with the S&P. I'm not really too caring. Again, I'm not playing off the S&P right now. I'm playing off of US 30. Weekly, very much bullish. I'm pretty sure if you see the monthly, you'll be like, oh my goodness, why would I ever think about selling this? It's been like, I mean, ever since down here back in 2008 when the recession happened, it's just been non-stop bullish, which I want you guys to pay attention to this. It dipped a little bit before it went bullish. We're going to talk about that with the cryptos next. Daily time frame right here called for a sell. I see the magenta candles, so I'm not really caring for it, and these are both still relatively bullish. So 4626 is what I'm going to be watching, you know. So that's one thing. 4 hour time frame, S&P 500. I don't know if I'd necessarily, I mean, this is what I'd probably play out at the end of the day. For the 4 hours is the bullish move, retracement, continuation to the upside. 1 hour time frame, nah. 1 hour just looks a little too sloppy for me. But overall, again, like I said, I think that the bulls can play out right here. 4413 is something I'll be watchful for in the future nonetheless. But I think that price is probably gonna end up retracing or end up bouncing from here and then going bullish a little bit. So that's not for S&P. I mean, that's it for S&P. This is for US 30 over here. So US 30, this is the play that I had talked about for the past how many weeks now, right? I said, hey, from this low to this high, I want to see price retrace down over here, and I want to get in at the 71% fib, right? I've been talking about that for the past how many weeks now. Price ended up playing out like that. I ended up getting in on Friday down at 34423, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, like, hold on. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, at 34423 is where I got my entry at, and so I'm looking to take this to the upside. And you know, again, if I go and look at the weekly and the monthly, then I'm gonna be pretty sure the monthly last month looked pretty bearish, right? Left the wick to the upside, but then fell after hitting those all-time highs. The month before that was pretty bearish. It gave a bearish engulfing candle, but then a bullish engulfing came right after. So we'll see what the month has for us on the Dow Jones. Pretty bearish couple of weeks previously, but then price left a doji candle on this weekly candle. So I'm still looking. You know, I still want to see what this does. Like, I'm okay with taking this risk and having my stop loss below 33,530. It's at 33,450.5. So we'll see what happens with US30. Monthly time frame, nothing to be surprised about. Price has just been extremely bullish on the monthly. Weekly time frame, oh wow, this might actually start to show some bearish potential, maybe. I'm not gonna necessarily look at this for a potential sell though. I would wait for a couple more weeks before I say yes, I would be looking for sales on this, but this is interesting to see though. So gonna watch out for US30 on that. Daily time frame called for a sell right here. I would not get into this sell though. So holding for the buys. Again, same thing as with S&P 500. Breakout to the upside, retest, continuation. That would be like the second entry I get. And I mean, the 1 hour just looks terrible, so just gonna leave that alone. All right, the cryptos. Let's talk about the cryptos, man. What a day! What a day on the 4th. The cryptos dived. And they did a nosedive, like a lot of them did, right? First of all, let's take a look at the monthly candle. Not the greatest monthly looking candle on the monthly time frame after they made all-time highs, but hey, we can still see what potentially happens. Last week, very bearish candle. I want to see what the damage was for the whole week. 30% drop. Nothing too crazy. Just playing. But so after a drop like that happened with Bitcoin, I'm gonna wait for a little bit before I try to margin trade it. But if I were, and Peyton was even the first person to mention this. He was saying that, hey, at this point, from this low to these highs, he wants to see the retracement down over here to that 50k and 40k area before, 50 and 45k area before he looks to buy. And I've been on the same boat. Hey, there's been a lot of people who say, oh, Bitcoin up to 100,000 by the end of the year. We've never been one to say that because, at the end of the day, you can't necessarily time the market. The market's going to do whatever it's going to do whenever the market feels like it, right? If you try to time it, then you're most likely going to be missing out on stuff. So, but again, right now, price is currently in this buy box that we've been looking at. And we're pretty confident that if it holds here, that we will be seeing these new all-time highs at like 80,000, 87,000 on Bitcoin. But for now, I like this drop, right? Because what does this drop bring? It brings fear into the market. Fear and greed index. That's what I like about this, right? It's because, again, it brings fear into the market, right? There's extreme fear in the market. It's a 16. Yesterday is at an 18. There's more fear. Last week it was at a 33, but then the last month it was at a 71. There was green in the market. When there is fear in the market, that is the time that you want to buy, right? So that is, again, these are the times that you might want to be looking for buys. I mean, price came all the way down to 42K, man. Yeesh. That's tough. But I mean, even let's just say hypothetically, even from this point of view, like, let's just take a look at it from these lows back down at 29K, 30K, where price barely had missed the 61.8 fib. But for those who knew what I was talking about back in May, price had just, like, it literally came in with the 61.8 fib right here. So I mean, price can literally take off from here, and that's what I kind of will be expecting for it to do. So again, right, these prices, they're not bad. These prices are not bad. I know that we're going to get into a couple of trades with Bitcoin. I know Payne has already mentioned one, but you know, this is, I mean, I like the opportunity on this. I do like the opportunity on this Bitcoin play. 4-hour time frame going down into it. I mean, as of right now, trying to buy it is kind of risky because it's like, okay, price just did that digital dash to the downside, and it hasn't did a dip like this in quite some time. But again, when there is fear in the market, that is when most investors are looking to, like, they're sharks and they're in the pool of blood, right? They're looking for the blood in the market. Those who have sold for losses because they were buying. I know there was plenty of people who were buying up here, right? Like, they were actually, like, buying Bitcoin and, like, putting it in their wallets to buy up at 62,000. Now at 48,000, they're like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just sell my Bitcoin and call it a loss. This is where potential investors are gonna be buying at, right? And again, this could still come down even lower, and, like, hey, 40K might get hit, 37K might get hit, but it's not that likely to happen. And even if it does, hey, that's another place where I would say, if you're down, buy some. But that's just if you're investing into Bitcoin, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. First of all, let me hide this real quick. Ethereum, I had mentioned that, hey, I wanted to see this play out from the bullish move to the highs. Price come down to the 61.8. It literally left a wick right there, and then went bullish. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense right there, right? So, I mean, at this point, prices came right back up to 41K. I'm gonna be seeing what it does here. I was saying initially that, hey, if we don't see this get hit, then we could very well have the potential of seeing from those lows to these highs, price coming over to 4,200, and then going bullish. But I mean, price didn't even give it, like, it gave it like, what, 8 hours before it actually decided to make a nosedive. So, but yeah, overall, Ethereum, it still looks like that it's like, I mean, after touching that 61.8 fib and how it reacted to it, it wouldn't surprise me to see price come up to like 6.2K or 5.7K or something like that, you know? It wouldn't necessarily surprise me, but it wouldn't be, for me personally, for like those who actually want to get into and buy some Ethereum or anything like that, it wouldn't be such a terrible thing for Ethereum to come to like 3.5K again, so that it could be like, oh, boom, there's your entry spot for you to possibly get into some Ethereum. But I digress, right? If I wanted to dollar cost average that. So that play is taking off. I mean, I would not have been able to get into that because I wanted that 71%, and I wouldn't have even probably tried to get in with a wick. So that's for Ethereum. XRP price had ended up pushing to the downside where I wanted it to come down to. That's awesome. Delete that right there. Okay, so, and why I was saying that, hey, price could come down here, why is that? Because it came from this supply zone, ended up dropping some more, coming down to 79 cents. Ripple is at a nice area where you could potentially buy it at. Because now let's do the flip side. So from this low to this high, look what price did. Came down to the 78.6. Wicked it. It's still at the. It's still like consolidating at that 71% area. I like these buys on Ripple and Bitcoin. Like, I think I'm actually gonna take this Ripple buy. I mean, I'm gonna be buying. I'm probably gonna end up buying some on an exchange if I can. No cap. Not even if I can. Like, I do want to buy some on an exchange because Ripple looks ripe for the taking for me. And I would love for it to actually come up even to these, if not even up to these equal highs, to make higher highs, like $2, $3. It'd be lovely. I would love to see $3 on Ripple. Oh my goodness, you don't even know how much I'd love for that to happen. So overall, gotta see what's gonna happen. This supply zone held pretty nicely, and price could just continue to fall. But as of right now, when there's blood in the market, you know, these are good times to buy. I would rather buy at 79 long term than buy at $1.62. Just saying. I definitely did not look at any arbitrage for any of those. So let me go back onto Bitcoin and go onto the monthly time frame. Oops, I have no idea what I just did. Okay. Oh, that's from a long time ago. Okay, so Bitcoin, very much bullish on the monthly time frame. Weekly time frame, currently rejecting off of the lower danger zone. If this holds above, yes, I do definitely expect Bitcoin to continue going bullish. Like, absolutely. If it holds above this RSI line, if it closes under, I would have my suspicions. Right, daily time frame. I don't know if they can hear. No, I don't know if they know they can hear me. But after this, I'm gonna tell them. Daily time frame is called for a sell. It's been pretty bearish ever since. I would have wanted that retracement back to the RSI line for me to get into it, but it is what it is. Rejected off of that second deviation, so I wanted to start turning around. 4 hour time frame, very much bearish. Need a lot more time for it to start to turn around. And the 1 hour time frame, it is calling for a buy, but I just based off of past experience with Bitcoin, and after it makes bearish moves like this very first buy is not the one to get into. Especially since right now price is currently under the RSI line. If it closes underneath there, then you don't want to necessarily get into that. Monthly time frame on Ethereum, very, very much bullish. And the reason why the bands look like this is because although it has, yes, a lot of information on Ethereum, it still needs a lot more for it to make better bands than it is right now. Right? Weekly time frame, it's still very much bullish. It's still over that greatly over that RSI line. Just rejected off of the compass and momentum lines, so still very much bullish on the weekly. Daily time frame, this would have been a little bit better for me to try to get into a sell, but I'm not gonna lie, I was just stubborn. I didn't even look at this, to be quite honest with you. I don't know when's the last time I looked at Ethereum on the daily arbitrage. Maybe I did last week, but I'm drawing blanks. No, I'm just playing. I did look at it last week. I was just being stubborn. 4 hour time frame, Ethereum RSI line is still up here, called for the sell down here. I would not have gone into that play necessarily, and it was consolidating on the 4 hour overall, so I wasn't even caring too much about what the 4 hour said. And again, the 1 hour time frame, it is calling for a buy, but I wouldn't necessarily try to get into that. Okay, XRP. This is the exact reason why I wouldn't get into it with either Bitcoin or XRP, because it's most likely going to do something like this. So 4 hour time frame, very much bearish. Daily time frame, I know it's bearish because it was calling for bears for couple of days now, or not even a couple of days, for a few days. And the weekly is finally calling for a sell on Ripple. So that's one thing that I do not like to see. That is definitely one thing I don't like to see. But I'm still gonna hold this. Like, these are prices that you want to be getting your, like, you be accumulate the dollar cost averaging. And when price drops like this, it's never a bad idea to go to dollar cost average. So keeping a watchful eye on these cryptos. Really debating if I'm going to get into long-term trades on them. Oh, well, this for sure. Payne, like I said, Payne has already mentioned trade on that, so I'm about to hop in on that. GBP USD. Let's see what I was looking at last week before I talk about what I was going to say. All right, dang, this thing is dropping, man. I mean, I'm still in the swing trade on it. I mean, I'm in the swing trade on a very low lot size, but man, that thing is still busting. So, want to see the breakout, retracement, continuation. We did get that pretty nicely. Price came back up to these equal highs, but then ended up falling down. Totally fine with that. Totally fine with that. The play ended up playing out pretty nicely. I didn't get in it, but I know members of the team ate on that, so that's cool. Monthly time frame. Let's see how bloody this is. Oops, did not mean to bring that out like that. So, monthly time frame, very, very bullish, and then we're seeing some type of retracement, right? Overall, we can still see the likes of 1.27200 get hit, right? But that's for a longer term point of view. Just want to point that out. Very bearish engulfing candle on the monthly. Price is currently under the 50 EMA. Looking for the buys is kind of dangerous right now, right? Coming over to the weekly, if we go ahead and grab the fib from this low to this high, then yes, we have this demand zone that price had previously gone bullish from, right? Now the price is making that retracement. We have this supply zone here. Definitely gonna be watching for it, but again, the weekly and the monthly are very much showing price action that is bearish. So you want to be careful with trying to buy the GBPs right now, right? Daily time frame, going a little closer. Price is making lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low. Hasn't made a lower high yet, so that's something to peep right now. But again, daily candlestick showing a bearish engulfing candle. This can potentially continue falling. 4-hour time frame. Yeah, nothing's really like catching my eye right now at this point for GU. Only thing that I'd really say is that, hey, right now price can just be holding right here, and at this point I would want to see a breakout to the upside. Breakout to the upside, retracement, continuation to the upside. So that's what I'm trying to see on GPUSD at this point. It's just making lower highs and lower lows, like I said. I would want to see a breakout of some type of a 1-hour structure before I try to get into a buy. So previous lower high on GU was right here. So I'd want to see this get broken before I look for any buys at this point. So, but for now, GU is just making lower highs and lower lows. It's very dangerous to try to buy it. It's going over to arbitrage, weekly time frame. This sell played out fantastic. Like, again, I'm still, let me see if I have it over here. No, but if you go back and see my analysis from back in September, like the whole month of September, I was calling for the sells on GU. They ended up playing nicely for the weekly time frame. Monthly time frame, prices coming into this RSI line, so we can see some potential reversals here. Cough, cough. That's a good sign for me to see on the monthly. Daily time frame has been very much bearish, but I mean, again, I haven't been really paying attention to the daily time frame that much because it hasn't been giving me that many good setups. On GBP USD 4-hour time frame, likewise, this was a pretty good opportunity that I was going to play out, but I never got into it, so I'm happy about that. And the 1-hour time frame, I'm pretty sure is very much bearish, and since price was kind of consolidating right here, it was kind of sloppy, so I wouldn't try to play off of GBP USD nonetheless, right? So that's for GU. Let me go ahead and go back onto this analysis so I can see if anybody's asking any questions. Alright, so that's for GU. I'm gonna go on ahead and go over to GA. So GA, I had mentioned in all of my like next wave everywhere that hey, I'm in it. I was in a buy on it. Sell on it. I had sold at 1.86584, and I was like, hey, price can still potentially come up even a little bit higher, and so it really did. But I'm still holding this sell. And overall, like, hey, even from where price is currently at, from this high to this low, right now price is currently at the 71% from this, right? So that's even another reason why I said, hey, I'm going to try to get into a sell, and I'm going to have my stop loss right here, because that's right above the 78.6. And I know that if price goes up to that 78.6, the chances of it to fall right after are very high. So I'm still in this GA sell. I mean, I'm not even so much against telling you guys, hey, try to take a sell opportunity right here and have your stop loss above these highs right here. I'm not against that, and then trying to take that to the downside. You can do that if you're down. It is what it is. Gave y'all an idea for a trade, but hey, overall, I'm still trying to get it. I'm still trying to sell GA right here. So that's what I got for GA. I'm not really too crazy over the bullish engulfing candle. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. That is something that is making me like, do I really want to sell this? Weekly time frame, same thing. It's pretty bullish. It's making me kind of nervous, but I'm already in the sell, so I might as well just stay in it. And monthly time frame, it's kind of the same candlestick as the previous month, just in the opposite way. So I want to see if it's going to hold here, but I do want a bearish GBP AUD. So with that being said, going over here, going over to monthly time frame, price is currently rejecting off that upper danger zone. That is something good for me to see based off of my sell bias. And also, it's still calling for a sell, although, I mean, I'm pretty sure after a month or two, it'd probably call for a buy if it's still above the RSI line. The GBP AUD on weekly time frame, it's still calling for bulls, and it's above the RSI line, so that's something to be watchful for me. Daily time frame has been extremely bullish. So again, for me, selling is not necessarily the best luck, right? It's not necessarily the best thing for me to be selling, but I'm still gonna hold these sells, you know. And 1 hour time frame, it is setting up for a buy. What I would be watching for, I'm actually gonna set this up. Short, once per bar close, create. What I want to see on GA is a breakout to the downside, retracement, continuation to the downside, and yeah, that's what I have for GA. Going over to GBP/JPY, then I'll do my last pair on EG, and then I'll get out of here. So GBP/JPY. Ooh, I'm so glad I didn't act on this at all last week. So last week I was saying, hey, right now at this point, all I really see on GJ is it's making lower highs and lower lows, right? What I want to see it do is for it to hold for this wedge or this downtrend basically that it's making. I wanted to see it hold and then I would look to see if it's gonna go bullish, right? So still have the same analysis on this, but this thing is pretty damn bullish. I mean bearish. So trying to necessarily try to get into it is not necessarily a wise decision for me personally. Let me go onto the daily time frame real quick. As we can see, price has just been slowly falling down, but it's coming down to a very key zone where last time price bounced off of it, it took off and made higher highs, but then as soon as that happened, it came back down and it's retraced basically 100% of this. So I'm really feeling like this is gonna, if it goes bullish, then that's gonna be a retracement for it to just fall at this point, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing. So what I'm really kind of gonna be watching for is from this high to this low on GJ. The retracement is what I'm probably going to be aiming for me to try to get into a sell opportunity on GJ, you know. So this is what I'm going to be watching for at this point, right? Not necessarily crazy over the buys. Like I haven't been crazy over the buys on GJ, but now this really confirms that hey, you want to look to probably try to get into a sell on this, because it definitely is making lower highs and lower lows on the 4 hour and on the daily, and now it's came and made like 100% retracement after it made an all-time high. So when I had mentioned that hey, with this zone right here, price can just be stop hunting to the upside, that kind of looks like that's exactly what GJ is doing. So there's that on GJ, just being patient on it, not gonna trade it. 1 hour through the 4 hour, I'm pretty sure is bearish. Yeah, 4 hour never got that breakout to the upside or the retracement. Daily time frame, after it hit this was a perfect trade opportunity for GJ, no lie, on the daily. And 4 hour, I mean the weekly is finally caught for the sell, but nonetheless, like I mentioned, I need it to retrace before I look to sell it. So that's for GJ. Last but not least, let's go on over to Euro GBP. Any pairs before I hop off? I'm gonna ask for them now while I'm talking about this, and then y'all could let me know. So Euro GBP is still holding at an awesome place, an awesome supply zone for a potential sell. It did come up to the 71% before, and then it rejected off of there. They went bullish to the 78.6. Right now it's still at the 71%. I kind of want to take the sell. I kind of do like the sells on this. Price is making lower highs and lower lows on the 4 hour time frame. However, on the lower time frames, like if you go onto the 2 hour or the 1 hour time frame, it is making higher highs and higher lows. So it's an uptrend on those time frames. It's very bullish on the past couple of days. Bullish engulfing candle on this candle right here. So like I said, although I kind of want to get into a buy, I'm also kind of skeptical about it, you know. So I still have all this that I want to see price really break out of to the upside before I'm like, okay, yes, I'm really bullish on this. And this is on the overall, because again, for the past couple of weeks, I mean, just look up for the past couple of weeks, look how price has just been leaving wicks to the upside, as if it wants to go bullish. Maybe the bears have gone worn out as it came down to this zone right here, and now price does want to go bullish, but it's just, to me, I don't think that's what's going to be the play. So I'm kind of, like I said, I'm bearish on EG, and I'm going to be totally fine if price ends up like coming back up to like 0.8600 and stopping me out. I'm okay with that, you know. But as of right now, I'm still feeling EG can go a little lower. So going on over to arbitrage, 4 hour time frame. What was I trying to trade here? Hold on, give me a minute. Yes, this was a while back, and I had said, Lower Pro and Arbitrage Z, you're not ready yet. I'll try to sell it anyways. That's what I get for trying to trade it, because nothing was ready. But anyways, weekly time frame, still holding under that Level Pro. After how many weeks that it's been rejecting off of here, so I still have to say, hey, this is still bearish. Daily time frame did call for a buy, but I would not have gone into this at all. 4 hour time frame rejecting off of the upper danger zone, so I expect this to fall. And again, last call for any other pairs that you guys want me to look at before I hop off. And so yeah, 4 hour time frame at this point, this would be the safe bet to try to get into the trade. That would be the safer for you to wait for the breakouts to the downside, retest, continuation. I'm also going to set this up. No live. Short, once, create. And the 1 hour time frame, the 1 hour time frame is just like it was consolidating a little bit. Price went bullish and it took off, but again, I'm not really going to try to play this. But yeah, that's about it, what I have for EG. Again, I still like the idea of trying to sell it where it's at, even if it's just to these equal lows or wherever. I'm totally fine with that, but that's my analysis. So with that being said, thank you guys for hopping on. I do appreciate it. The timestamps will be at shortly. Hey Debbie, I had already gone over XRP, and I said, hey, right now XRP looks like a very good area to look for some swing buys, or if you're going to try to buy it off of an exchange. These prices are more than wonderful. Even if it drops down to 40 cents or anything like that, I would still keep buying on Ripple or something like that. But hey, I do like these prices indeed for to get into some buys, whether if you're long-term trying to buy it or trying to just buy it off of margin, right? But again, I could play like this. It is not out of the question for me, quite honestly, for XRP. So that's what I have for XRP, and no problem, guys. Thank you guys for hopping on. I do appreciate it, and I'm out of here. Later.